Hello everyone, I'm Trisha, it's me Jenny. It's time for another not naked video response to Trisha Hershberger's series Naked Truth, where we talk as candidly and as truthfully as possible about a subject of her choosing, straight out the shower, no makeup, one take, first take, and no edits, anything like that. Most people choose to do it naked, I choose not to, but it's not a sexual thing either way. It's to be vulnerable and to be honest, and I tend to wear the clothes that I wouldn't wear outdoors and feel that I wouldn't want to be seen out in public with, which is kind of the whole point of the nakedness, is to be, you know, vulnerable and personal. And yes, today's subject is strippers, and I have very many feelings about this. I'm going to try and keep it short because shaky camera, and also I've got to go to work soon. So one of the first things I have to say about this is I've never been to a strip club. I've never experienced strippers, so most of what I'm going from is what I've seen in movies and internet and just general suppositions from people who have been to strip clubs. And my general consensus on strip clubs is, well, one of my first thoughts is that with anyone who works in a sex industry, I am concerned for their health and well-being. And that's not to say that if they are emancipated, strong, independent and fully aware of their situation that they can't be. You know, I'm all for them 100%. If they want the finances and they're proud of their body and they want to flaunt it and they want to show it off and they're empowered and they're not being in any way pressured or anything like that into any part of the sex industry, then more power to them, as long as they're legal and consensual and safe. Then I am so, I'm personally for any type of stripping. But that may not always be the case. There's also kind of a gender imbalance when it comes to stripping. For women, female strippers, it's a very sexual, beautiful thing. As far as I know, when it's male strippers, kind of part of the point is to kind of embarrass the ladies and like make them feel kind of uncomfortable. I don't know whether or not that's generally the case, but that's the impression that I've got, that, you know, there's a sort of different type of entertainment between male and female strippers, and for that reason I would perhaps feel more comfortable if I were to have a stripper situation thrown into my face. I would feel more comfortable with a woman than a man, but maybe that's just me. But there's other things to do with the concept of stripping that I just want to discuss briefly, and that is when it comes to things like dancers, professional dancers, it's not sexual. They can be, you know, stripped down to nothing. They can be dancing in a leotard or, you know, a pair of shorts and a skimpy top, and they're wearing as much as pole dancers, but they're professional dancers and you don't think of them in a sexual manner. While strippers, when they're wearing heels and stuff, you think of them in a sexual manner. And so I feel like there needs to be a sort of level of when it's a showmanship thing, when it's showing off the beauty of the human body and doing a performance, when it's burlesque, or when it's, you know, something that's kind of got a level of skill and professionalism, that is in a different ballpark to when it's just titillation. When it's things like burlesque, which has got definitely an art form, and I will link to some videos down below of pole dancing, and pole dancing is one of the things I've heard the phrase that if you put a pole vertical then it's stripping, if you put a pole horizontal it's gymnastics, and that's very true. If you actually watch some professional pole dancers, they are so athletic, it's not even titillation at that point, it's just awe of the physical form. And as someone who used to dance and researched a lot of dance during my A-level time, and has been aware of dance for a long time, there is a level of huge amounts of respect for when it's a showmanship thing, and when it's so awe-inspiring it's not even titillating. And it's a lot of complicated issues, because I'm one of those people who does, you know, I feel like the human body needs to be relatively desexualized, you know, naked is naked. That's why I have a reasonable life of respect for naturism and that sort of thing. You know, I've got a saying which is bodies are bodies, put a bow on it, and that's titillation. And I feel like in a way that, you know, if you're going to a stripping performance and you can enjoy it on both levels, then I think that's a pretty interesting way to enjoy your time. If you're, for example, a couple going, and using gender stereotypes, this may not be true, but if you're a couple going and the woman can enjoy the performance aspects and the man can enjoy the titillation aspects, then maybe that's okay. But when it comes to any sort of viewing any sort of strippers, in or without a relationship, if you're out of a relationship, you need to kind of be aware that humans are humans as well. I think there's a level of objectification without self that occasionally happens, which is kind of the point of stripping. You're meant to go see them as a sexual object if you're going to the sort of thing where it's just titillation. But I think there also needs to be a level of education and respect. You know, men who go to see women stripping, they are there for the experience, but they also need to be taught to be aware that women are women as well, and to respect them, especially when they're leaving the club or later on, or respect any woman in any other setting. Just because a stripper is there for their entertainment doesn't mean that a woman walking down the street with short shorts wants their attention in the same way. And there also needs to be a level of gender equality. Again, it's similar to dance, gender equality. Women in stripping have kind of a more it's kind of, men who strip have a lower level of respect in a very different way to the lower level of respect that women do. You know, if you're a male stripper, you're like, there is a lot of bad negative associations with male stripping, and yet with female stripping there's also a bunch of negative associations. But if you were to put them into a room, the negative associations are very, very, very different, and those need to be taken into account as well. When it comes to, jumping back on a point, when it comes to people within relationships, I think going to see a stripper depends on intention, and depends on the consent of the people within the partnership. If it's an open relationship, if it's a relationship like one of my go-to examples, which is really weird because I don't actually know them in person, I met them both once, is Phil and Lindsay. Phil and Lindsay, their rule is she's very happy for him to see professional strippers. Oh, my alarm's going off. I've got to go to work soon. She's very happy for him to see professional sexual people, as long as he doesn't then, you know, find his kicks elsewhere in the personal sector. And that's a personal rule between that couple. And as long as the couple... my camera ran out of battery, so what I was saying was, as long as that couple discusses the issues before making a decision, or before one of them goes off without the other, or they both go together, or something like that, then that is absolutely fine. It's an affair happens not necessarily during a sexual act, although that's the epitome of it. In my opinion, an affair is something where someone does something that they know is wrong, and they know the other part of their partnership would not like, and deliberately chooses to keep a secret from it when it's involving a significant other entity in their life. And that's when an affair happens, in my opinion. It's not necessarily a sexual act. It could be, you know, talking to an ex-girlfriend without talking to your partner first, or, you know, talking to an ex-girlfriend who is, you know, still with that level of intimacy, going to see a stripper without having pre-permission or having discussed the issue at all with your partner, and at least getting to know each other's feelings. That's when it becomes an issue. Anyway, my alarm's going off again. I have got to go to work, so I'll see you guys all very soon. My previous Naked Truth is not yet online because of my internet issues, and my internet is still not fixed. So hopefully this will be up soon. I'm so sorry, Trisha and everyone. Feel free to comment down below if you have any thoughts on this. I know I've said a lot. I promise it'll be a short video, it never is. But there we go. Hopefully both my Naked Truths will be up soon. By the time this one's up online, the other one should be up online. But it's catch-up week. It's just insane how much I need to catch up on with the lack of internet when my internet comes back, which is still not. So there we go. I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye, guys.